Naruto to this day will always be a fantastic show, with ninjas being the main theme and a short yellow-haired kid with an undying fighting spirit. Naruto will always be one of those shows that keeps a golden spot in my heart. I started watching Naruto in 2009 and boy, did it appeal to me. The combat, the music, and the characters just really stuck out. Everything from the character designs to the art style. It was just so unique to me, especially seeing as I had only watched a handful of anime by that time, and most of it was things such as Pokemon or Digimon or Yu-Gi-Oh! So they were really more focused around monsters, and I wasn't really used to animated shows being as dark as Naruto, or as deep. So when I first watched Naruto, I was in for a big shock. As a kid, one of the best things for me when getting into Naruto was the theme. I mean, it sets you up in this amazing world of ninjas where they have these magical abilities and where characters were not really happy or uplifting. It's so dark, but it has this sort of fighting spirit, the light in the darkness sort of vibe to it. And I mean, the first thing that it mentions in the first episode is that the village was nearly destroyed by a giant nine-tailed fox demon. So it really sets you up with this big expectation that, whoa, this show's gonna really hit you with some bad feels and it's gonna bring you through the darkness. And I really like that about Naruto when I first started watching. And even the main cast of characters, Team 7, do they have some trauma or what? You have Sasuke, a boy who witnessed his entire family be massacred by his only brother after beating the living hell out of him. Naruto, a boy who has hated his entire village after his own parents died, sealing a demon into his stomach. And you have Sakura, a girl with two loving parents and with great paying jobs, who live in a really nice home, and well, she has pink hair, so I mean, clearly she has some problems. And they're joined together by the badass Kakashi, and he has his own traumas, which you will find out later in Shippuden. And really, together they trauma bond their way through the entire ninja world, and it really sets up a really good cast and a very good world for the viewers to get into straight away. The battles on Naruto are some of the best battles I've seen in anime, and this is really where the fantasy of Naruto really takes over. The magic system in Naruto is a martial art known as Jutsu, and it has three basic types of Jutsu known as ninjutsu, which is how they shoot out elements and create energy-based attacks, Genjutsu, which is this illusion-based jutsu which allows them to outsmart and confuse their enemies, and finally Taijutsu, which is punching and kicking the shit out of each other until the other one falls down.
Get him up, let him get up, let him get up, let him get up. Fight back! Fight back! Fight back! Fight back!
Which is probably the most effective because they use it more than any of the other jutsus. Then there's this genetic power that's known as Kekkei Genkai, which also translates to Bloodline Limit, which is a genetic power that passes down the generations of ninja. So, you know the guy who you know who is 6'4", can eat as much food as he wants, and is naturally ripped and has a chiseled jawline? So imagine that guy, but he can eject bones out of his body and stab people because that was also in his genetics. That's essentially Kekkei Genkai. Kekkei Genkai is really where it sets up this whole some people are better than other trope, where they're born into the right family, therefore they have more power than those who weren't born in the right family. So for example, the Uchihas have the Sharingan because they're more powerful and because they were born in a better family and have better genetics. And this really sets up some of the biggest plot lines in Naruto, the original series. The thing that makes Naruto battles so great to watch is the strategy that the characters put into the show. One of the first things that Kakashi teaches Team 7 in the first few episodes is that they won't succeed if they can't work together as a team. And throughout the series, whether it's Shikamaru having to defeat Hidan, an immortal dude who cannot die, or Sakura having to prove her worth to Team 7 and herself by defeating Sasori, a character who is far stronger than her, is that the characters plan and strategize rather than just smash their way through the battles. And this really leads me into my next point, that the fights in Naruto always have a metaphor linked to them. For example, Neji vs Naruto is not only a battle of two characters, but two philosophies. Is genetic prowess and a natural talent more important than hard work, determination and an undying fighting spirit? Or you have Madara versus Hashirama, a more political fight with two different views on how to gain peace. You have Madara, who believes that humanity is naturally bad and people are too flawed to come together and stop fighting or suffering. So the only way to stop war is to force control over them with his power, and that the Uchiha also need to leave the village because they are being oppressed by the Senju, and it will lead to their clan's demise, versus Hashirama, who believes that humanity can find peace, but it takes hard work and time, and that if he protects his village and keeps everyone together, that with time and love, true peace will be found, and that people will be happy and stop fighting and focus on family and helping each other. And this is what Naruto is all about: conflicts, battle of ideas and strategy. And honestly, when it comes to Naruto combat, there are only a small number of shows that can live up to what Naruto gives the audience. And probably the worst thing about the combat is every now and then there's sometimes a little bit of animation problems, but really you can get over that. I think the worst time that we do see animation problems with Naruto fights is definitely the Pain versus Naruto fight, which is probably still one of the best fights because of the build up, but the animation sometimes can definitely pull back on what could have been an amazing battle. Now, one thing that really annoyed me about Naruto is that it sets up some people in this world that are just born powerful and to the right bloodline, which means they are strong and great. You have people like Sasuke or Neji who are genetically more powerful based on their heritage. And what made the original Naruto series so great was that Naruto was the loser, the bottom of the class, the untalented weakling who even failed his graduation to becoming Genin. But Naruto had determination and willpower, and with that he proves all the gifted people wrong that he will become Hokage. And when watching that as a kid, it is the most motivational and best part of the series. Naruto pushes through and struggles, but his determination outweighs others' raw talent. But then Shippuden came along and ruined all of that with making Naruto the chosen one, as he was reincarnated as Ashura, and this is really where I have a lot of problems with Naruto. The original series sets up a lot of amazing storylines and features which really get shut down by Shippuden. I mean, the Chunin exam, where Naruto, the class reject, beats down Neji the prodigy, was so satisfying. Or when Rock Lee fights Gaara, and even though he loses and gets badly injured, he doesn't give up, and he proves to Gaara that even though he doesn't have ninjutsu and only can use taijutsu, that he was strong and worthy of that battle. And then he recovers and becomes a ninja regardless of his genetic power. He pushes through, and this is where Naruto shined the most in the inspiration that it gave audiences, especially teenagers who for the first time in their lives were finding out that there are some people who are born lucky and others who have to work harder and rise to the top with determination. When I first started watching Naruto, I was a kid. I was at the bottom of the class, straight into secondary school and as a young teen, and I can really connect with Naruto because when I was a kid, my parents focused so much on my brother and his problems because he would always get into fights at school and really stress my parents out that I kind of faded into the background a bit. I remember not wanting to start any fights or becoming a problem child, so I really started becoming a pushover in school just to stop that drama from getting into my parents' lives. They had enough with my brother, and I really kept my head down. So when I was watching Naruto as a kid at this time, for me, it was one of the first things that inspired me to learn more, to be more determined and work harder. I was born in a working class village and in a poor family. I remember the day that I actively started learning by myself and teaching myself because I went, school can't teach me everything and I need to start teaching myself. And I went from one of the lowest sets in my secondary school to the second top. Now, I am and always will be the underdog. And to me, the Naruto that inspired me will always be the underdog. The Naruto with the fighting spirit. To be noticed, to never give up. That is the Naruto that had some real impact on me. And that's the Naruto that I feel like they ruined when they started making him the chosen one and the Uzumakis were really important and they have real good chakra control. For me, it took away the fact that Naruto was the underdog, the loser, the bottom of the class, the reject, the one who was hated by his entire village because his parents died to put a demon inside of him to save them. And that Naruto will always be the Naruto that I look back to because that's the one that we need, the inner fighting spirit. Not the one that's born perfect and was destined to be great, but the one that pushed through everything to prove to people that he could be great. Not the one that was destined to be great, the one who proved to the ones who said that he wasn't destined to be great, that he could become great. Now, in life, we all have our inner demons, and one of the best lessons that Naruto teaches us is that not only do we have an inner demon inside of all of us, but we need to face it and learn to control it for bettering ourselves. Naruto becomes dependent on his demon and ends up abusing it. Now, how many of you watching this video right now have become dependent on your demons? Whether that's playing video games over working on your tests or being addicted to drugs for the short enjoyment they give. Or maybe it's even bullying others because you're going through something bad and you feel betrayed and you want to make others feel how you feel. Naruto changes people like that. That is the sort of person that Naruto has conflicts with because he wants to prove them wrong and that you can work on yourself to become better. And that's what Naruto really pushes in the anime. I mean, Naruto becomes addicted to Kurama's chakra. And Kurama becomes stronger with every time Naruto uses his chakra. His demon, Kurama, becomes more and more powerful to a point where Naruto starts to lose himself. So firstly, Naruto cuts him off and learns to live without the power of his demons. He then works on himself and trains, and when he is ready to defeat his demons with his own inner strength, and after defeating his demon, he learns to control his demon. Naruto forgives Kurama and himself and sets himself free from his demon Kurama, harnessing his inner demon for good and for his goals and for his objective. In my life, I have seen many young men refuse to see their own demons. I've even seen them allow their demons to take control over them. and it always ends with chaos. But something I've learned a few years ago is that we all have a demon inside of us, and we can control it. Use others' doubts to prove them wrong and work harder. That's what Naruto does.
By the way, there is no easy way to becoming Hokage. Believe it.
Naruto is such a powerful anime, and one thing that was always interesting to me is that all of Naruto's foes are found versions of him. They are the Naruto that allowed their inner demon to take control. They are the Naruto that allowed their hatred and frustration possess them, and that's what made Naruto as a character so great. He never gave up, and he always proved his haters wrong, because he wasn't gonna lose his control over his demons, and he was going to fix his demons. He was going to work on himself and become better than who he was yesterday. And that's why Naruto is such a powerful series. Now, we live in a flawed world, and there are flawed people everywhere. And characters such as Pain, Madara, Obito, Sasuke and Gaara can really show us what can happen to you if you allow hatred to rule your heart. Now, some of those characters, if not all of them, overcome their hatred with the help of Naruto. And as a viewer, you can take the moral of Naruto to guide your actions with determination and love rather than perfectionism and hatred, and to overcome your demons, to stand up for what you believe is right, even when everyone else may think that you are wrong. To be your own hero and to be your own Hokage. The world building in Naruto is really something else, with shinobi being more superpowered soldiers rather than sneaky traditional ninjas. It seems as if shinobis are set with the job to protect and preserve their village and help it thrive. Now, the world building in this really kind of shows you that ninjas are more community based than alone assassins like how they traditionally are. And with 5 countries in Naruto, there is a lot of conflict and politics, and each village has their own leader known as a Kage. I think with the powers and missions that the show offered, it was really easy to dream of yourself as a shinobi in the ninja world. I personally thought that the Naruto world building was at its best when it was about the missions and the exams, and these 3 children having to work together to become warriors, with different ninja ranks and terrorist organizations, giant Tao demon beasts, the enemy, warring states and political affairs all over the place, and don't forget the conspiracy theories. I think that's when the world building in Naruto was at its best, because really you got to see what it was like being a ninja, and even how cruel it was that they were in this world where children have to go and become warriors and fight to protect their villages. This is a world about being strong, and if you're not strong, you are weak and you are bottom of the hierarchy. Now, this is also where Naruto really suffered, because the power scaling that they needed to have for the next villain to be strong and therefore above them. For example, in the early episodes, Kakashi is one of the strongest ninjas, and he takes 30 seconds to create a water dragon in a fight with the rogue ninja Sabusa. And this is where it really showed that Jonin or higher ranked ninjas had a lot of strategy and a lot of power and a lot of patience, and it really set up a good comparison of Genin such as Naruto and Jonin such as Kakashi or Sabusa. Now, in the last 3 episodes of Shippuden, Naruto and Sasuke are fighting a woman from the moon and creating explosions and giant energy effigies every 2 seconds, while jumping through space-time and playing mental gymnastics on top of that. The power scaling of Naruto really went crazy to a point where they needed to bring in moon people, and for me, I felt like it kind of ruined the world building. I have heard from many people that Naruto fell into the power scaling trap like Dragon Ball, and especially when they started to add aliens into the mix, and personally I liked it the most around the Pain arc, where some ninjas could explode entire villages, but that was essentially as powerful as it got. Also, removing the cost of powerful jutsu, we see Edo Tensei as a very hard, forbidden and costly jutsu that becomes very overused in the end. It's almost like how in Dragon Ball, Super Saiyan is a legendary thing that has only been heard from echoes of legends and takes a very strong individual and emotional trauma to even use, and then after that, it takes a lot of time to master. Then in the Buu saga, in Super, every Saiyan gets it without any effort.
Yes, naturally, it's a Super Saiyan bargain sale.
That's how I feel a little bit about Naruto. It went from having to have hand signs and chakra management and to really push yourself to become stronger, and it was hard learning new jutsus. It took a really skilled person to create a jutsu. And then it just went from that to, hey, everyone's super powerful now and they can explode villages with their mind, and it went a little bit too far, and that's the biggest problem. Now, another big problem with the world building is definitely the filler. I mean, we must have saw Itachi's story about 70 different times throughout different characters' eyes. We saw it from the eyes of Naruto, from Sasuke's dad, from Obito, from Madara, from Shisui, from Itachi himself, from the crow, from his dog, from his cat, from the mailman across the street. But you get, like, we saw his story a little bit too much with the fillers, and that really annoyed me. I mean, show his story a few times, but with Naruto, it likes to repeat itself so much to a point where it's a little bit draggish. No pun intended, but yeah, it does drag a lot. And if you cut out the filler, it's really, really good. But the filler will always kind of take it down a notch as well, because of how they made it go on and on and on and repeat itself so much. And that really ruined the world building, because I remember when I was watching it weekly around the last few episodes of Shippuden, where they were really showing Itachi's story again and again all over time. I think it was time when they were showing Shisui's story, and I thought to myself, man, I want something new from this show. I want to see new things. And when it got to the point of actually moving on the plot, I was like, thank God, we've been in this Naruto war and you've just shown us backstories all over and over. Like, can we actually see the war? So when we actually did get to see the war, it was like, oh my God, please show more of this. But that being said, the world of Naruto is amazing and awesome, and we all have imagined becoming ninjas and having senseis and how amazing that would be. So for that, the world building is kind of fun and great and good. It's just the plot kind of damages it a tiny bit. But we would all want to be ninjas and be able to do shadow clones and substitution jutsu. So yeah, the world building is really fun and really cool. And we all want to be in the world of Naruto. It's just a cool world. I stopped watching Naruto religiously around about when Shippuden was ending. And I was okay with the ending, but by the time Shippuden did end, I was kind of happy to see it go. With Naruto's real flaw with pacing and the filler, and how crazy things got towards the end, I will always cherish the original Naruto series over Shippuden. I have seen a very little amount of Boruto and some of the plot points, but the truth is, I enjoyed seeing Naruto become Hokage, and the show ending and leaving it in our heads. I didn't really need to watch Boruto. I've seen it all through Naruto. And there's many things I dislike about Boruto. I mean, even the name Boruto just seems so lazy to me. It's like me saying I made a continuation of ketchup and then handing you a bottle of catsup and saying, no, it's different. Ketchup was his dad, this is catsup.
Ketchup? 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 I'm in way over my head.
Almost every character in Boruto is a combination of already made characters or just a rip-off version to remind you of past events. Naruto is a really fun show, and I can see why Kishimoto wanted to carry it on, and for many, they love Boruto and will keep watching it. And I even bet there will be arcs or scenes from Boruto that I will enjoy. But for now, I will keep Naruto in my heart and allow the next generation to enjoy Boruto. Maybe one day I will start watching Boruto, but for now, I will let Naruto go. Hey guys, it's been a while, and I know that this is a little different of a video than what you guys are used to. I have been really well and focusing a lot on my life right now, but videos will be coming out again, and I plan to do more videos like this one. I just really hope that you guys enjoy these types of videos and enjoyed this video today, and if you did, please give this a like and a subscribe, and I don't know, maybe share it with a Naruto veteran or, you know, a friend who likes Boruto or Naruto, and, you know, give them some nostalgia. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.